Hi neighbor, welcome to this week's episode. This week we take a look at performances found right here at Appalachian State, both professional and just for fun. First, we join in with Professor Derek Gagnier with Theater and Dance Today, where he sits down with a few of the stars from the Appalachian Theater Department's upcoming production of Midsummer's Night's Dream. Later, comedy improv troupe Noun stops by to discuss upcoming performances and gives us a taste of the front row show experience. All of this coming up right here on Hi Neighbor.
Hi neighbor, welcome to Theater and Dance Today. I'm your host, Professor Derek. The Appalachian State Department of Theater and Dance is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Valborg Theater by bringing the past to the present. We'll be celebrating 25 years of theater and dance performances by restaging A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Shakespeare classic that was the first production to be performed in the theater on its opening in 1994. To talk with us about this blast from the past, we have two of our main stage actors, Sophie Weiner and Devon Bucey. Welcome, guys. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
We've got to talk before, we've got to work before, but this is the first time I've got to direct you two on stage. So it goes back to Selkie and Sweeney Todd and now Midsummer Night's Dream. And as the director, I can tell you we've been doing a number of things differently than your regular Shakespeare. This is not your grandfather's Shakespeare, any means. So, Sophie, let's start with you. What are some of the challenges? You're playing Hermia, one of the young lovers in the play.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you found running up against in this particular kind of staging of it?
Well, particularly for Shakespeare, it is hard, definitely with the language, just because it's as Hermia, she speaks in prose, and so it's constantly with the rhyming, but making sure I'm not rhyming all the time and making sure I'm going to the end of the expression. So one of the hardest things is definitely figuring that out and having a conversation with people, and then having to run into the woods and figuring out all where the wood area is, like dirt and things like that, and just trying to still be Hermia but running through the woods.
Great. And Devon, same question. Challenges that you're finding playing Oberon, the king of the spirits of the woods?
I will agree with the language. The language is definitely hard, but once you get a feel for it, the biggest challenging I'm facing, I think, is encapsulating this being who is is the king of the fairies, obviously, and can basically change into whatever animal he wants, and just trying to find little idiosyncrasies here and there that makes him different than a normal mortal, I guess you could say.
So here's another question. Put yourself in the shoes of the average college student and says, okay, I'm going to go see a Shakespeare. What can they expect to see that's different from irregular staging?
I would say just people having fun. In normal Shakespeare, usually if I tend to go see Shakespeare, I think, oh, it's just boring. It's just very like how they would do it in Shakespeare's times. But in our production, I really see a lot of people having fun and just being themselves and just like expressing all of their different emotions on stage.
Right. And what is it like to have to directly address the audience? Because, you know, a lot of Shakespeare, there are asides, but we've turned it so that a lot of the exposition is right to the audience as well. How are you finding that?
It's actually pretty fun to be able to do that, because then since we have such an intermediate language, if we try to connect them, then we feel like they can get it as well. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can get it. Yeah, you can do Shakespeare too. Things like that.
So working on this project, what's been the biggest surprise for you?
The biggest surprise?
Yeah.
I guess how quickly I got the language. Like, it is definitely hard, but if you work on it day in and day out, it's surprising how much you'll actually understand from Shakespeare. And I think I just had troubles with that in the past, just like understanding and everything. But I think understanding it makes the story like completely different.
Yeah, and people coming, I might mention this, they're going to see some dance, they're going to hear some music,
They sure are.
all kinds of magic. We've done a kind of special thing with the magic. We've got live sound effects. There'll be lighting effects as well. Devon, you're bearing the brunt of that. You do most of the magic on stage.
I do, yes.
How is that to all of a sudden raise your hand and a magic, you know?
It's amazing. The people doing the sound effects are doing an amazing job. it's just like really close, like working with them and just like knowing when to do the sound effects and everything. It's really magical. Like to put it into a word, it's magical.
Yeah. And you get to be several different critters.
I sure do.
Yeah, that's fun too. And Sophie, you get zapped a couple times. How is that adjusting? You know, to, okay, I'm falling in love with somebody else because I've been zapped by a magical spirit. What is that sort of adjustment like?
Well, I don't get zapped. Everybody else gets zapped, but it does. You have to think about the magic of it, because I'm trying to be this real person and still be Hermia and go through all of what I'm trying to do, but then all of a sudden there's just some type of magic happens, and then all of a sudden my love loves somebody else by some way of magic. So it's kind of interesting to include that as well, to try to think about that.
Well, that's the kind of fun thing about this show, is that there are 4 young people who are in love. It's kind of in a round table. One loves the other. But everybody in college has been through that sort of thing, right? I asked somebody too. I said, well, if you found yourself in love with someone and they were running in the woods, would you follow them? The immediate was, oh yeah. But these aren't normal woods, because my favorite thing is we have 8-foot giant flowers. And so in working on it, you know, where people actually shrink. Now, what is that like, to deal with all of a sudden your perspective changes? And granted, they're not finished yet, but there's enough flowers on stage to make you feel going from 5'4" or 5'5" to 2 foot nothing. How is that perspective changing?
It's fun, because then we get to like imagine all these giant flowers. It's like, how did I get here? Like, it's just a completely new perspective of looking at things and all the things around us, and still trying to get my love back and everything.
I agree with that. It also just brings out the inner child of everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Because like it brings in the sense of imagination, and you dream of these things as a kid. Like, what if you were a fairy, or what if you were able to shrink or grow to a certain size? And we get to just live that on stage.
Well, there you have it. Thank you both for coming in today and talking with us about this bookmark event at the Valborg Theater. Midsummer begins its run Wednesday, April 10th. It goes to the 11th and 12th at 7 p.m. It ends on Sunday, April 14th, with a final showing at 2 p.m. Tickets are $10 for students, $17 for adults. And to get your tickets, you can call the Valborg box office, 828-262-4046, or go online to theaterandDance.appstate.edu. Now, also coming up is the first ever Valborg Alumni Reunion Weekend. It's scheduled from April 11th through the 14th, and the weekend allows alumni to meet and interact with current students. The events include an alumni dinner, an open mic night, and a picnic at Valley Cruces Park, and of course, a gala presentation of A Midsummer Night's Dream on that Saturday night. So for more information about that event and pricing, and how you can register, it's www.theaterandDance.appstate.edu. So that's all we have for you this week. Coming up, host Laird Davis sits down with Noun, the improv group, to learn more about their craft, and it's coming right up on Hi Neighbor. So for Theater and Dance today, I'm your host, Professor Derek, and we will see you at the theater.
Hi Neighbor. Improvisation, or improv, is a form of live theater in which the plot, characters, and situations are made up on the spot and acted out. Appalachian State University has its own troupe dedicated to the art of improv. Noun Improv Troupe has been bringing laughs to App State's campus since the 2000s. Here to talk with us about the troupe are 2 members, Jack Adorjan and James Colasar. Hey, so thank you both for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
Could you tell me a little bit about the troupe, how many members there are, how often you perform, that kind of stuff?
9?
10. 10. We have 10 members.
10 members in Noun, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So we have 10 members now, and we're going to have a couple graduating next year, or this upcoming semester. So that's exciting. And then we perform like pretty often. Every other Tuesday we have sort of smallish shows at Tap Room, and then we also have a couple of really big shows. We have our big Legends show, which is coming up once per semester. In addition, we do sort of smaller shows for other groups. We've done some for like Arcapocalypse and for Dance Marathon and just a bunch of other stuff. We just recently had one for App Builds a Home where we helped raise money, so that was really exciting. Yeah.
Very nice. And so are there some games where you use like all 10 members of the cast at one point? Because I know there are a lot of sort of smaller scale skits, but are there those larger scale ones as well?
Absolutely. So, and that's actually my favorite kind of improv is long form improv, which is going to be 15 to 20 minutes typically of continuous improv based on one suggestion from the audience. And so we have several different kinds that we do. Actually, just earlier we were in practice doing a mono scene. So as opposed to an amalgamation of a few different scenes with cuts and side painting and things like that, a mono scene is just like it sounds, one continuous scene in taking place in one continuous location, and whoever you start out that scene as, you're going to continue being that character for the rest of the mono scene. You can obviously enter and exit as you see fit and whatnot.
Yeah, that seems like quite the challenge. So you mentioned practices before and how important those are towards warming up to the improv scene, getting ready for your comedy chops, I suppose. So how often do you practice each week?
So we have 2 practices per week, once every Tuesday, 6 to 8, and then every Thursday, 6 to 8 as well. And the great part about it is Tuesdays are open practice, so anyone can come down. We didn't have as many people coming in, but recently we've had like 2 or 3 people coming in every Tuesday from like the stand-up club or from other people in theater that have just been interested in it and are, and that's super exciting to have new people out there, because not only do you get to teach them new games, but also you get a new sense of humor, you know, so it's
If anybody's ever interested, they can always come in on an open practice. They don't feel the need to perform with us. They can just sit down in the back and just like watch us for fun, ask questions, jump in whenever they want to, so. It's a good opportunity to get your feet wet.
And so there are many different varieties of comedy, and some types of comedy have a few more ground rules and standards than others. What kind of rules do you sort of hold yourselves to during these improv practices?
So the big no-no in improv is actually saying no. You do not want to deny anybody in improv because in my opinion, that just kills the flow of the scene. I find it very impressive when improvisers can be very quick-witted in what they're saying, and especially if they can just go back and forth quickly, but still be coherent and understanding of one another. And so you definitely don't want to just say a flat-out no to someone asking you a question, giving you a command, something like that. Even if it sounds ludicrous, you know, just go with it and see where that takes you in the scene, and you'd be surprised at how much fun you could have.
Right, yeah. And in addition to that, we have other things that we like to focus on, you know, just to help us improve as an improv team. It's not necessarily big rules of improv, but like we always talk about, listening is a really huge thing, especially in the mono scene that we were talking about, where it's sort of this 20-minute long, characters are coming in and out, and it can get really complicated if you're not paying any attention. You might come in and inadvertently like know someone really hard by like just saying, like let's say that the setting was like a pirate ship and you come in and you're like in an office building all of a sudden, and then there's this big confusion. But there's also like a lot of nuances with that as well, where if you're on the same page and you have this synergy together where you are listening, you're going to be able to tell on stage, and it is just like, it clicks, you know.
Yeah, many improv skits are kind of about like dueling wits and trading lines and
absolutely.
trying to outsmart your opponent even when you're both making everything up at the same time.
Sure.
So, yeah. Now we've talked a little bit about lessons, and I'm just curious, like, what is one of your most favorite memories from your time with Noun, like so far, or coming close to the end of college, I suppose?
Off the top of my head, definitely not too long ago, we went to Greenville and went to the New South Comedy Festival in Greenville for a couple of days. We were able to take some master classes with some really awesome improvisers and other comedians, and so that was obviously a great opportunity to help further the craft. But also we were able to do a performance ourselves that was really, really amazing, and we were able to see some other awesome college improv groups that just brought so many different things to the table and gave us new ideas of stuff that we might want to incorporate into our improv in the future. So it's always good to see what else is out there besides yourself.
Yeah, Greenville was great. Greenville was probably what I would have chosen. But another one that really sticks out, because like it's been a great experience all the way through. But one that I guess comes to mind is our biggest show that I've ever been there for, which was the one Legends show that I've been a part of. So Legends is this big stage. Like usually we perform at a sort of like just like a little stage and like a restaurant, you know. But this was one meant for performing, you know. So we got the big crowd, the biggest crowd that I've ever performed in front of, at least doing improv, and we killed it. It was like I would say it was our best. It was the best performance that I had ever been in because it was the best performance of our semester in my eyes, and I just had an absolute blast doing that. And then in addition to that, they filmed it, and I've shown it to my parents and some of my friends over winter break, and they love it, and now they're interested in, you know, coming down maybe to App State because, as it so happens, this Legends show falls over Wake County spring break. So some of my friends from Raleigh are going to be coming down to catch the show, which is super exciting.
Now, you do quite a few different events. We talked about a few of them. What are some of the more regular shows that people who are interested in seeing you at work, what can they come out to see you in?
So, like James was saying, definitely coming up on April 17th, we do have our big Legend show of the semester. It is going to be, I believe, $3 at the door. Will be from 6 to 8.
7 to 9.
7 to 9.
9.
Thank you for correcting me. No, 7 to 9.
You can show up at 6 if you want. You can show up.
Yeah, $3 at the door, and I think it will be, since it's Legends, it will be BYOB if you are of age to be able to drink. And then other than that, every other Tuesday, so not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday of next week, we'll be doing a 1-hour set at Tap Room, and we do those every other Tuesday.
And so for those people who come down to see you, are really amazed and actually want to get involved, how can they begin that process of potentially joining the troupe?
Excuse me, good question. So in the at the beginning of the fall semester, in terms of auditions and things like that, we will, I guess, announce when we're going to start doing that whole process. But before the actual auditions, we'll have 3 days of workshops, which are recommended but not mandatory. You don't have to attend the workshops. You can just come to the audition if you really want to. But if you are new to improv or just interested in seeing what we're all about, we definitely recommend coming out to those 3 days of workshops, and we'll just show you what we're all about and give you an idea of what you might be doing if you end up getting into Noun. And then after those 3 days of workshops, we'll have an official audition.
And do people need to come in with any pre-prepared skills? Do they need to be a triple threat who can sing, dance, play an instrument, and juggle? Do they need any of those sort of like important skills coming in?
No, not at all. The best part about improv, and especially those workshop days, is that it is a very, very low pressure environment. You know, the people there are great. It was super welcoming, and just learning, like, even if I didn't want to perform, sitting down and seeing these people perform their craft is amazing. And also, I want to stress that 3 of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life are the 3 seniors in Noun right now. So we are losing some pretty heavy hitters going into next year.
So if you think you got what it takes, we would love to have you come out.
Even if you don't think you got what it takes, you're probably funnier than you think you are.
Please come out to
please
workshops
come down
and just have some fun.
Yes, absolutely. Bring your friends. Tell your funny friend, hey, you know, this might be something for you. You know, come on down. It'll be a blast.
So thank you so much, Jack and James, for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's been great.
For more information about Noun, you can find them on OrgSync by following the link below. You can also like and follow them on Facebook to keep up to the date with events and meetings. To give you an idea of what you can expect at a Noun performance, we have a small snippet of one of their past performances at Legends, located right here on campus. Take a look.
Okay, everyone, how's everybody doing? Next game we're gonna play is gonna be Rap Battle. Okay, I host the game because I cannot rhyme at all. It is my second language, so there's that. So this is how the game's gonna work. We have 2 teams right here. Yes, we have 2 teams right now, but we need a name for the teams. It's not that hard. 4-4. What's the name of this team right here? Oops. What's the name of this team?
Baby Sharks.
What?
Baby Sharks.
I heard Spank Sharks. What did you say?
Baby Sharks.
Baby Sharks. Baby Sharks. Baby Sharks. Okay.
Coming at you.
This is how it's gonna work. Okay, so James right here is gonna start. So we're gonna get a suggestion of a one-syllable word or name, and then he's gonna start. He's gonna throw that to Tyler. Tyler right here is gonna have to throw a rhyme with that word or whatever Henry, James said last. The thing is, they're twins. It's hard. The thing is, the rhyme that Tyler says, everybody in the group has to say it for them to like make it, and then Tyler's gonna throw to Isabel and back and forth. If somebody make a mistake or cannot do it, they're gonna get a strike. You got 3 strikes, they're out, and the other team wins. Got it? Got it. Cool.
Go Baby Sharks.
Okay. Baby Sharks and Coops. So can I get a suggestion of a one-syllable name? Mike. Mike. Coops.
Met a new lover. His name was Mike.
Pedaling, riding my bike. It's got a bell because it's really fancy.
I like the ocean. I like the
Let's go!
sea. I like to play with my hula. Sometimes I sit on the toilet. Gotta. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's stinky.
Got a finger, call it a pinky.
Or it's made of wood. And you know what? I think that's pretty good. Because I got shoes and they're on my toes.
They smell bad with my
Nose.
He, you, something stinks. Huh, that really makes me
Think.
I'm a smart man. I'm contemplating.
Back on the toilet, can't poop on. Constipated.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Hi Neighbor. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at watchapptv.com and check out our YouTube channel, AppTV, for more content. We'll see you next time. Bye, neighbor.